Mrs. Natsha, as the death toll continues to rise, how do you view the humanitarian situation in Gaza? Could you further elaborate on the humanitarian situation in Gaza now?
Actually, there's nothing humanitarian in Gaza anymore. We are talking about targeting the worker on the humanitarian aids. We are talking about targeting the kitchens that prepare meals or the minimum of food for the people in Gaza. We are talking about targeting the storages of the aids in Gaza. We are talking about a destroyed health sector. We are talking about continuous transferring from one place to another in Gaza. There's nothing to talk about a humanitarian situation in Gaza. Talking with people in Gaza, they say that they are still fasting because there's nothing to eat after Ramadan or after the end of the fasting time. So we are talking about people die from hunger and from very, very bad conditions, lack of any health services in the Gaza Strip. Even they are attacked. Anyone try to give any aid in Gaza, the worker on the humanitarian aids was targeted and still targeted. Many international organizations announced that they will stop their operation in Gaza because they didn't have any kind of communication with the Israeli military. They can't secure their teams. So we are talking about people are dying without even any witnesses or any documenting about what is happening inside. For example, last week, surrounding the Al-Hilal, the Red Crescent team in Rafah, they need like days find out what happened with these teams, and they found them killed and buried in a very big hole together. It's like a crime. Everything is happening in Gaza now can't be even we didn't have any description for what is happening in Gaza. At the beginning of this war, we started to say that it's against the international law, it's not a humanitarian, and all of these
This
things.
is a
Now,
genocide.
all these descriptions ended because we go for a farther than that, and no word can explain what is happening in Gaza now.
Dr. Mickey, what is Israel's position on international guarantees, and why Israel has resisted accepting any guarantees on future security after a ceasefire?
I think the Israeli, that it's not just not accepted. Israeli have their agenda, and they want to even to reoccupy Gaza again. And also, as I mentioned, this is by the extreme government, which is, that dominated by the extreme people like the Netanyahu, Smotrich, Ben Gvir. They want to reoccupy Gaza again. They want to make settlements. And also at the same time, that Netanyahu want to, that to send a good message to Smotrich that he had, that in order to accept what's happening in Gaza, he want to, that to do what he want to do in the north part of West Bank by killing the people, by displacement the people from Tulkarem and so I did think so that Israeli need a guarantee for international from the international, because Israeli is not even believe or not interested with the international that's guarantee. They have their private agenda, their own agenda, and they want to as I said, to repeat again without any listening to anybody, which pressure in Israel in order to withdraw from Gaza.
Mrs. Natsha, the Israeli occupation forces have resumed airstrikes, breaking the ceasefire. What assurances or guarantees can Israel give that it will respect any new ceasefire agreements?
Actually, I don't trust the Israeli anymore, and we know that even the Oslo negotiation gives a lot of guarantees, and after 35 years, none of these guarantees has really been given to the Palestinians to establish their independent state. So talking about Israel and commitment is something didn't make sense for any Palestinian. We know that Israel didn't have any commitment for the Palestinian and will not be under any commitment anymore. But we are talking about the international will, if they have the international community will, if they have a real will to give us an independent state, they must take a real action, and this action will start from ending the war on Gaza Strip and in on the West Bank as well, because we have escalating military actions on the West Bank as well as the Gaza Strip. So without any commitment of having a Palestinian independent state, everything will be like a war that can the wind blow in immediately after a while. So maybe some pressure in Israel means changing at first the Netanyahu government and they ending these or falling these government once forever, and this can be internal pressure from the internal pressure in Israel, not from the international community.
Yes.
For the international community, we have a decision to end occupation by the end of September.